Hi guys, we are talking whether it's easy or hard to be young. Victoria, is it hard to be young?
I think it it is hard to be young and it is hard to be an adult. So for adults, it seems that childhood is like a perfect place where everyone is happy, where you don't have any responsibilities, where you can just sleep in your bed, you don't need to care about anything in your life, and you can just do whatever you want to. But in fact, like I remember a lot from my childhood, and I remember that the fact that I couldn't take responsibility of my life by myself, the fact that I don't know anything about the world, the fact that I cannot make decisions for myself, it was so these facts were so frustrating me that I wished to be an adult, like from all over, like from the deep of my heart. I had this wish. And when I became an adult, yeah, I faced some problems like responsibility, need to pay my rent, need to pay for my food, and etc., like all this boring stuff. But I'm happy that I can do it all by myself and not being controlled by anyone who is called my parents. So I actually think that childhood would be easy to live if you had all this knowledge that the usual adult has. But when you are a child with no understanding of life, it is actually as difficult as being an adult, because the problems that you have during your childhood, they seem to you very, very tough and very, very hard to cope with.
I heard recently that some research shows that when a person is in the period of childhood, it gets some kind of endorphins, some kind of internal narcotics. And when it gets to the point of teenage age, it just ceases to get it. And really, when you see kids, they can be happy without reason. They would laugh, they would jump, even how they walk. They don't walk, they jump like this. Are you jumping like this now?
No?
Sometimes when I'm really happy.
Yeah, but the kids do it all the time. And I find it like if you drug this little kid that know nothing and gets internal narcotics all the time, what can you expect? And then you leave him or her without any support, without their dose, and that's why the teenage age gets to such a depth of depression. And well, all those things like we discussed, they might be just modern myths, right? But there's something into it. And you're not typical, though, I can say. You are, some kids are getting more adult than adults, you know. Anyways, I always wanted to push my kids through adulthood, through childhood as soon as possible, because I do agree with you that it's a very defenseless state of being a subject of someone else's decisions and other things. And that's why when I could, I was as democratic as I can, like listening to everybody and so on and so on. Anyways, Peter disappeared right at the moment when I wanted to ask him this question.
Sorry.
The
Sorry
same
about that.
question,
It's just
do you think
yeah.
that being young is kind of hard?
I mean, in like what sense? How young are we talking about?
now, your age?
Think my age, it should be hard because at my age, you should be building up enough ground level for later years in life where you're not so able, you're not so strong to be able to do other things. So right now, at my age, should be the hardest point of my life where I'm just on grind constantly, where I should be doing more and more things so that later in life, like my 20s and 30s, I have something built up and I don't have to work as hard.
This is a very
I think-
interesting thing. I'm sorry, Peter. Yeah, go on.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a very interesting thing because Peter, he's 16 right now. And if you ask any adult, like 13, 40-year adult, what's the best age that they want to live once more? They will tell you something like 16 to 20. So in the mind of most adults, this age must be the most cheerful and the most interesting in your whole life.
No.
Oh, well, it is, yeah. It's just during those years, most people do lots of fun stuff, like, partying, alcohol, drugs.
But
And
there's
then
no
later in
fun
life-
in this.
Yeah, and they keep pushing off responsibilities until later in life, where all of those responsibilities fall on your shoulders, like moving out, having a job, having needed to make money, needed to do your own laundry. It's it all piles up on.
I never
On
do
a
my own
person.
laundry up until now. It's like that's it. Mother did my laundry, then Maskin did my laundry, then Tatiana did my laundry, then Ksyusha is doing my laundry. She's not good in it. And I decided there is one thing that I'm not going to do until I die. I'm not going to do my laundry. Period.
Okay.
When I was alone, I used to hire help and pay them to do my laundry.
Wouldn't you want to just learn how to do it yourself?
I don't know. It's
don't have to
some
pay
kind
money?
of like I don't want to. Can I have
Oh.
something not to want to?
Well, yeah.
It's not just a thing that you don't want to do. It's a thing that associates with being adult, and you want this little child inside of you to scream just a little bit and to let him scream out, like, I don't want to do laundry. And you just let him do this little part of being a child, of not having any, boring responsibilities as adults usually do. This is how I perceive
I don't know. I have an amazing life because I like the age I am in right now. I live a very interesting life right now. I don't want to be younger. I don't want to be older. I want to be here and now. And probably the guys asked me, you were absent. They asked me whether I'm happy. I said, well, there are different levels of happiness and probably I'm not. But probably I am, because I have no nostalgia about previous ages. No, I want to do what I do right now, to be where I am right now. Yeah. No,
But I
I didn't
think-
like being young at all. First of all, you feel like a fog in your mind. Later on, when this fog disappears, you can't understand why you didn't get such simple things before. And yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, and this fog, it really obscures and obstructs clear vision of the things. I have way worse memory now than I had when I was 15. When I was 15, I could memorize the whole lesson in 15 minutes before the lesson. I can't memorize much right now. I can't be that good in things that I used to be good. But the clarity of thought, which I get with the age, especially with this GPT guy, the artificial intelligence that has, first of all, dealt with my confidence issues. Now I became very confident because someone with IQ 150, almost like Einstein, is telling me that, yeah, I'm right. And he's not doing it because he just wants to please me, because in cases when I'm wrong, he tells me, yes, you are wrong. And I don't need any more appreciation or critics from the side. I know things that I know. And it was just such a relief, because people like jokers, you know, a lot of conversations, they are not about the subject, they are about the dominance, to dominate you. They don't care about truth, they don't care what they find out, they just want to be right because they want to be right. And therefore, they're useless, pointless, and so on. Yeah. So, Peter, you have this illusion that you can build up your life right now and then get retired when you're 30. I did this. Imagine, when we came to Canada, I was the wealthiest man I ever wanted to be. I had like $500,000. I had very successful working business in Israel. I bought the house with cash, the cars. I had everything. And I was just 30 years old, like Jacob now, his older, elder brother. Yeah. And then I thought it's boring. And now I have nothing. But I'm using all my resources 100% every single day. Just 100%, even more, because I'm always in debt. I don't know. I think, and what I say, an illusion of building the fortune, the life. It's not about the resources that you gather, which I did. I did gather a lot of resources, right? When we came to Canada. It's about how you treat life. It's how you process life. Because even our bodies, they don't like to store a lot of things, because then you get edema, you get fat, you get sick. You just need to process things, like the approach, how you approach things. That's what I think. Entrepreneurial way to approach things.
I think there must be two periods in life where you reach your highest level of happiness. The first period, and it's possible when we treat the childhood, not like most of the Russians do, for example, like our mindset is aimed to achieve. Like from the very early age, they tell us that we need to study really well, that we need to succeed in life, and etc. And it really bothers children usually. For example, as long as, like, as I know in Europe or in America or in Canada, it's not always like that. Like mostly children are treated like children and teens are treated like teens, and they do not, and adults, they don't tend to, they do not ask more than teens should be asked. So the first moment in life of your like true happiness, the period of life of your true happiness is during your childhood and adolescence, where you don't have your state of consciousness, yet you do not realize all the tough things about life. You just realize that you have some friends, you have some parties, all your problems is that, oh, he didn't share a toy with me and something like this. And even especially if the theory about the endorphins is true, yeah, this must be the happiest period of your life. And the second period of your life with the highest state of happiness, it's not during the adolescence, it's not during your 20s or even 30s, because during your 20s and your 30s you get this consciousness and you terrifically realize how bad the world around you is. And like as you said, most of people of this age, they're kind of shocked about this world, and they have depression and stuff because they can't accept the reality the way the reality is. And there is a period of this tries, like of a person trying to accept it and trying to accept the personality that he reached during his childhood, because like most of our features are formed during our childhood and adolescence. So yeah, and the second moment of your happiness is when you accept your consciousness and accept the world around you and understand how to use all the resources, how to use how not to get worried about the absence of some resources. Like, for example, like as you, Boris, now, like in your age, you realize how happy you are, you know how to use your resources, you surround yourself with good people, with the ChatGPT-4, you solve your mental problems with insecurity, and you feel this happiness because you finally accepted all the things that you were really unsure about during the 20s and 30s. So,
Victoria, sorry to cut you off, but can you answer me a question? Can you define what happiness is?
Okay, yeah, I can define it for sure. Happiness is a state of mind. It is not based on, it can be defined both ways. Like the first way is a simple way. When you have this endorphins in your mind, for example, you buy and you think and you feel this good emotions, and some people, they define it as happiness, but that's not what I'm talking about. Happiness is a state of mind when you consciously realize who you are, what you are, why you are, when you are, like all of the special words, question words, you realize all the things and you have this fulfillment inside of you. When you fully accept your pros and cons of your personality, when you know what you want, when you know what you don't want, when you don't worry why you want this and why you don't want this, like all this stuff. And like it's not the emotional feeling, it's some deep conscious feeling inside you, and that is what I mean by happiness.
What you described, it's more like being content but not happy. I suggest that there are 3 levels of happiness which are not interconnected. The first level is here and now. For example, I'm happy because I'm talking to you, I like talking to you, I like talking to Peter, I like talking to Victoria, I'm happy right now, right here. And it doesn't matter whether I might have some issues, problems outside of this. My whole attention is here, and I'm happy because I'm doing what I like to do. The second level is like basic happiness, financial stability, business success, personal life, and things like this. For example, at this point, I'm not happy. Business is not good. I have financial problems. I love my skin. I live with another lady. My life is mess. So I'm not happy. And there is a third level, is what you were talking about, the fulfillment and self-realization. I'm quite happy. I am writing the books. I'm very active in all the spheres of intellectual abilities, but still it doesn't reach such level of happiness that I had when I was a priest. I had a shelter. I had the people that I was caring for. That was my highest point, and I lived that way 9 years, right? So 3 levels here now: basic, personal, and business and job situation, and the third is self-realization, and they are not interconnected at all. What do you think?
I don't think that the second state of happiness that you describe is actually happiness, because when I think about all this stuff, like, I mean, where is the state of happiness? Like,
Oh, I will prove that the second state is happiness. I will show you. For example, you, in a year, you have built a big school, Koshkin English. You have a lot of English-speaking teachers. You make about a couple of millions, whatever. You can allow to yourself to do whatever you want. You have bought your favorite horse, and not one. It's not happiness? No, it is happiness for you, right?
No, the happiness is the process of achieving things, but it must be conscious process. Like, imagine if I just get all those things in a moment.
No, I didn't say you will get it in a moment. But
so yeah, it's always about the
process of achieving is happiness, and the process of not achieving what you would like to achieve is unhappiness, right?
It's also happiness, because
no,
you
it's
realize you. No, I don't agree with you. Like, maybe it's just the matter of my personal feature, because I've grown in you know, a kind of rich family, and I don't like, I've never experienced the feeling of not having like ground under my legs. Like, I've never experienced it. That's why
you bought
I have
your
no
iPhone 15 by yourself.
Yeah.
And you felt proud of yourself, and you felt happy.
So, sorry, can I throw my 2 cents about happiness?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, imagine a monk is set on fire, and he looks content, and he feels nothing. Would you define that as happiness?
It's happiness on the third level of self, like he is at the highest point of self-fulfillment. That he doesn't feel anything, it's kind of weird. Probably set on fire, you feel burnt and pain. And so, yeah.
You know why that monk can keep smiling even after he is set on fire, and he should be feeling the most intense and most
it's called
pain in their life?
It's called convulsions.
It's called a clear mind. Whenever, and this is research based also, whenever the human mind is filled with different thoughts and different problems and different emotions, it is not happy. Whenever the mind keeps thinking, it keeps running off, the mind is not happy. But when the mind is completely silent, that's when it feels the most amount of happiness.
Yeah, it's one of the versions from Buddhist practices.
Your life could be a complete mess. Well, honestly, it can't be like that, because if your life is a complete mess, then your mind is cluttered. You cannot think properly. And I'm not talking about not having any problems or not having any issues in life to the point where it's like to the point where it's like life is perfect. There's nothing wrong with life, right? I'm talking about having those problems and having those issues, but being able to look at it as just a problem and not anything more, and not overthink it. You know, be simple about it, right?
Yeah.
But I still don't agree with you, Boris, that being a rich man can make you happy. Because, like, yeah,
It's not about that he
Did
was
I
rich
ever
and he
said
was
that?
happy. It was no, you never said that. It's
Never
I think what Dad's trying to say is that his version of happiness is when he is doing a lot of good in the world. Like when you had that shelter, you were doing good and you loved that. That's when your mind was clear, right? When you were helping other people,
Yeah.
right?
And I later I found a biological basis to this. It's not because I'm that good. It's actually is written in our evolutionary process. Those who help each other, they get more oxytocin, and oxytocin is the hormone which is responsible for loving the close ones and not loving the not close ones, like Victoria has said to me, right? And actually, it creates the feeling of fulfillment and happiness and fullness of life and so on and so on.
So
I
then
was a
why
little
isn't
bit,
everyone very generous and very open to having people come into their house and live there? Why isn't everybody open to that idea?
because we have a very little amount of our beloved ones.
no, it's the way how we get raised. Like when in the early childhood, kid wants to share something, the parent would say, "Did you buy this? Why you're sharing this? No, don't give it away," and so on. So we don't have this moment to develop and to feel how it's beautiful to be a giving person. That actually we are getting a lot of happiness from giving rather than from taking. From taking, we're getting happiness as well, but there's another hormone that makes us happy, and it's different happiness, right? It's happiness that comes from sexuality and aggression. There are two forces in the society. That one is trying to make your own family, to leave your genetic material to the next generation, to fight for your woman, to breed more and more resources and take it away from others. And another mechanism to support everybody in the society, or most of them, to succeed and survive. And both mechanisms are good for evolution, because one ensures that certain individuals will propagate the species, and another ensures that this process of competition and fighting with each other will not be so strong that this alpha male would kill everybody around, okay, and diminish the diversity of the genetic pool. So both things are rewarded with feeling of happiness, and it depends which one you develop. You can develop that one, and like Victoria said, the capitalist society is triggered to develop the aggressiveness and fight for resources. And other kinds of the societies, like there are communist societies, I mean the real ones, like in Israel. I used to, when I was 19, I lived in a communist settlement called kibbutz in Israel, where everything is free, there is no fight for resources, and everything is shared. And actually, what we had in our shelter, it was some kind of model that I learned when I was 19. Like all the cars are available to anybody, the keys are just hang there and anybody can use them. Everything is shared. And Peter lived in this, and even he had a problem to realize the concept of private property. When we were coming to other houses, Peter would go through their drawers and open all the doors and looking for stuff, because in our house, everything was available to everybody, you see? So what I'm saying here that the thing that you develop, it will be developed. You need to taste this happiness of helping others, especially this happiness is very fragile, because if you get rewarded elsewhere, it will not work. If you volunteer and you get some hours for your school, you will not be happy to volunteer. It has to be completely selfless. No other reward, okay? Only if you do something without any reward, you get rewarded by your oxytocin system.
So can we say now that being a child, being in your childhood is actually difficult because you are totally influenced by your parents, and there is no way to realize the way to gain happiness apart from, you know, the ways that you're given by your parents?
The problem is that we are getting born as animals. Like the little creature that get born, if this creature will not live in human society, it will never become human. And getting an adult, it's a process of transformation from animal to human. And this is very painful process, because look how the baby is surviving. It doesn't know to, it's not toilet trained, it has no social skills, it has nothing. It's like very similar to some animal. Even some animals are way more well-behaved than little babies, right, Peter? So yeah. This is a very painful process of transformation from animal state to human state. And this process cannot be easy. And when you get this self-realization that you are still in a half animal state when you're about 3 years old, and also you have very specific parents with all their own troubles and problems that are trying to resolve their problems by abusing you in different ways, and so on and so on, then it gets real trouble. We should not say that children are angels. I don't know if, Peter, you remember, once I took you to the private school, and there was a class of 6 people, and you were in this class, and I brought the French teacher, and we were trying to teach you French. And somehow you decided, because we spoke incomprehensible language, you can behave like monkeys. You were putting your stuff on your heads. Someone was putting the garbage bin on someone's head. Everybody was shouting, and we can't control you. And then the deputy director of the school came in and said, "Shut up! Shut up!" And you all said, and you shut up. But you were not learning anyways. We were trying to explain that the Eiffel Tower is a beautiful thing, and you were saying, yeah, Tour d'Eiffel, manger Tour d'Eiffel, I want to eat the Eiffel Tower, some and then I felt clueless. Another example, if you remember, during COVID, you were taking part in my lessons, remember?
Yeah.
Online. And there was that kid, another kid. And when you were not studying, you were cursing like hell, remember?
Mm-hmm.
You were cursing online, everybody heard that. And there was a kid from Philippines, another kid from somewhere, and two Canadians. And two Canadians were behaving like in the worst possible way. So I don't have any illusions about the state of childhood. I always amazed when I see kids that are smart, talkative, inquisitive, thoughtful, but most of the kids are damn stupid and damn boring and damn bothering.
Yeah, but like it's from your point of view. From their point of view, everything is good. And like, in fact, being dumb is another state of happiness that I can define. I would say. Like, if you're dumb, you don't think about things that make you sad.
Oh, Peter disconnected. He got offended, probably. Oh my God. What did I do wrong?
I don't know.
Anyways, did he?
No, maybe he lost the connection.
Maybe,
I don't
maybe.
know.
Anyways, so every stage of our life is tough, but I really don't want to get back to my younger years, and especially to the childhood. Maybe I'm still kind of a child right now. I don't want to do my laundry still.
No, I wish I was a child right now. Like, I think that the most like strong wish, like a strong dream that I have right now is to appear with all my knowledge and with all my experience, like at the age of 5 or something. Like, I
Then
would
what?
be the happiest person in the world, because like I had a really happy childhood. Like, my mom was alive and I could talk to her. I don't know, nothing to care about. I would know all the school program and had no need to study and to learn some stupid math formulas. I don't know, like, and you actually like I would be able to have all this free time. I could buy Bitcoin, like so many things to do, like, really. And this is like the hardest dream of my life, to appear with all my knowledge at 5 years old.
Yeah, you're not serious though, right?
I am. I'm totally so, like, I for real, like the last few months I've been dreaming about it a lot. Because I have this nostalgia. I mean, I know that your childhood was kind of boring and you told us about it, but my childhood was not boring at all. It was like my parents, they were obsessed. Like, they wanted me to be as curious as I could. So they were traveling with me around the world. They were like paying for all the interests that, for all the classes that I was interested in. Like, I did everything during my childhood. I played musical instruments, I danced, I drew, like everything. And it was really, really cool. And I didn't have any responsibilities apart from being smart, basically.
Yeah, sorry about that. My phone died while I was walking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish I were 5 years old.
You missed that Victoria said that she would like to be 5 years old with all her knowledge and go back that time and buy the Bitcoins.
Yeah, I should have been investing in housing when I was born.
2007, yeah. But
Right
you
before the
didn't have
crash.
much money back then, have you?
Yep. Shouldn't have gotten the job.
Anyway. I think that what I suggest that here and now is the best moment of our life. There is something into it. Huh?
Yeah, that's true. Like every moment of your life can be the happiest moment of your life, but it's a work that you need to do, and most of people do this work all their lives and still do not achieve this result.
Mm.
What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. When you said that when people get to their 20s, 30s, they find out how cruel is the world. I think Peter knew this from quite a while.
Because he's your son.
So I told him, right?
I guess. Like
I
I was
think
talking, I was not talking about like the families like I don't know why, but in my mind it always appears as some Russian-based families, because like we have this like the world is so cruel. Like, okay, me, I was grown up and like I was in my 5th grade, like I was about 9 or 10 years old or something, and growing up in Russia, it's like when you see a dead body on your yard at school and you run around it and you run from the policeman because they're like, oh, there's a dead man, and you're a child, you're just like, what? And this is my childhood.
Wait a
Like,
second, you had a dead body
yeah,
in
at the
your...
backyard of our school, like not at the backyard, but like the field, like the gym field. I don't know how they call it, like when you run, where you run, like the big field.
Oh.
Yeah, and there was a dead body of some addicted man, and we were just running around it, being happy. Like, and this is a Russian type of family, okay? And we know the world is cruel from the very scratch of our
It
living.
sounds like South Park. It sounds like it's so, like, in Soviet Russia, you play with dead bodies.
Yes, and
have
like
nothing to
this is
play
a
with.
true story. Like, no capping, this really happened in my life. And there were this how do you call this where like the medical stuff where you do injections with
Needles?
Syringe.
Syringes.
syringes. Yeah, and all over my like school territory there were syringes filled with some kind of drugs or something, I don't know, and we were playing with it. We were like, we were playing a game and we called it I forgot all the English words, Dasha the Explorer, and we were looking for men who are obsessed with drugs, following steps of their syringes. Games of my childhood, and this is true. So yeah, and like if it not comes to this kind of childhood, okay, if it comes to normal kind of childhood when you do not face all these problems, yeah, there is a point of life when you realize something is wrong with this world and not everything is as good as your childhood was. So yeah, you get kind of shocked. I didn't had this kind of shock realizing the world is cruel and realizing you need to have some responsibility, because already when I was 9 I had the responsibility not to take syringe and put it in my hand. And my mother, she told me really straight about it, like, you see this thing, don't ever put it in your body. But I was curious, I was hella curious, and I was like, why, Mom? I want to do this, it looks so beautiful. I don't know. Yeah, so I didn't have this shock, but I mean, families in some modern countries like Europe, America, or Canada, like these child, they do not face it, okay? So they may have this kind of shock.
No, yeah, I made sure that Peter had a very difficult childhood. He lived with us in the shelter.
Yeah.
With the drug users and everybody else. So no question.
Actually, like, I really love this story of yours. And when I tell my friends about you, I will say, bro, this is so cool, man. Like, imagine he was a millionaire, then he moved, then he made his house like a shelter. But one thing that was really bothering me is that Peter was living with you at the moment. And I don't know if it is, polite to talk about it right now, but I was thinking, like, is this type of childhood that he actually deserved as a child? Because it is kind of strange and abnormal.
There were a lot of positive things. There were a lot of guests, visitors, many happy.
But not all of them were, like, cultural people, as you said.
I don't know. I learned to love anyone. And even those that were drug users, for prolonged times, they didn't use drugs when they lived. There was some crises, that's true, but it was quite a peaceful life, like 99% of the time. And he was exposed to a lot of interactions with people coming, and he loved it. Peter, you loved when guests came. And kids came all the time, and you played together all the time, and it was an amazing place. We had a lot of land. We had all those places to play with, and the animals, and the chicken, and the I don't know. It was fun.
Maybe I'm just ignorant about positive sides of it, because
we have a chance to ask the witness, Peter. How do you feel about this time?
It's not how I remember it.
You do not remember at all?
No, I remember it. It's just not how I remember it.
How did you remember it?
The house was like falling apart. There was mold everywhere.
That's true.
People were beating each other.
It
There
happened.
was this girl who was really suicidal and then kept coming up to me about it.
Which one?
I don't know. I have a different memory of it.
Right. There was one, yeah. Yeah.
But in general, it was happy times with animals.
Yeah, but the problem is that we were religious, and being religious is it's always been fucked up. Like Christianity has to be extreme. That's the problem of the religion. Yeah.
I don't know. If I were you, like, I wish I couldn't. Like, I wish I didn't have this type of childhood. I don't know. But, like, maybe it's just my point of view. Like, I don't say it's for everyone.
I don't know. It's not only me. Masking usually is taking different people from outside, and not only people. When she was young, she was gathering the kittens from the street. She was washing them up, and then they were making their stuff in my slippers. And then in our house, we always had different people spending all day long. So I don't know. It's not only me. It's not only me.
I don't know. Just like, I've never grown in this sort of, like, I've never been actually in this sort of surrounding. So it is really hard for me to imagine the positive sides of it. But I believe you
Peter
that
was
they are.
born at the highest point of our wealth. In 2007, in 2008, we made $2 million per year in sales. I can't say how much we actually did, but there was a lot of money. Peter, we had 2 and then 3 nannies taking care of him, all Chinese. Yeah, there was a private chef. You don't remember him probably. He was cooking for 2.5 years for us. And this transformation was very slow. It didn't happen in one day. We started as Maskin decided to become Christian in 2007. Yeah. So she baptized everybody. And slowly but surely, we started to be involved in all this. And we transformed the beautiful medieval hall that I built in my garage into the church. And then we started to invite different guests. And first, those guests were just coming and having fun. And then slowly we got some people that were not as fun as we would like to be. And then slowly it turned into more and more. And then Maskin told me that she wants me to become a priest. And truly, I wanted to become a priest too. And when I became a priest, I couldn't say no to anybody because I believed that whatever Christ said, everyone who is coming to you and asking something, he is Christ himself and you have helped him. So I started to help everybody and I was very happy. And Maskin was very happy too, because I will never believe that someone can be forced for 9 years to live life that he or she doesn't like to live. And what I believed is that if I raise a kid in such a Christian and loving and accepting environment and giving such an example, it will be good. And maybe when he becomes older, he will become a priest. Maybe Jacob, elder son, would become a priest. I thought so. And that what was accepted by everybody. And when I went to the monastery, which at the Pacific Ocean, they have the same story. They let people in. We should not dislike people for being suicidal, for being addicted, for being unhappy. We need to love them. And probably the problem was the way how Peter perceived this, because from both sides, from religious and from biological, there is a mechanism how we can accept people even if common knowledge says that those people are not good or dangerous or whatever. All people are not good. All people are dangerous. That's what it is. And I learn more and more that those things happen to those that are not generous as I was. They let people they rent their basement and then they turn out to live with the alcoholic. Or like so many stories that happen anyways. Like you were running around the dead bodies. There is some contradiction. Why your parents, being so wealthy and good off, they put you in school where you play with bodies at the crown play for the drug users, right?
It was just the reality of those times.
My reality in times of Jacob, I didn't let them go to school. It's not like I didn't let. He was taking his school until 4th grade. And then he came from school and said, I don't want to go there anymore. They're stupid, they're boring, there's no point. And I hired the best professors for him. Some of them came from England. I used to pay $10,000 for 3 weeks. And the way how Jacob is brilliant now, it has to do a lot with his teachers and professors that he had. because I can definitely see those professors that were good, like in literature, in Christianity. He is interested in those areas, and professors that were not good, he is not interested in those areas. So yeah, it was interesting childhood for him. And imagine a professor from Cambridge is coming to teach you English literature, and you are not sitting around the table, you are just taking walks, long walks, and you are talking about Shakespeare, you are reading Romeo and Juliet and all that stuff. And I think it's a great influence, and that was amazing too. So I was trying to take different approaches, but as I say, we will be always critical of our parents. I've never heard of anyone who wasn't critical about our parents. But the problem is not in parents. The problem is in the world and in the process of becoming human, starting from the point where we are animals. And that's mostly the process. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you.
There were a lot of happy moments, a lot of fun, a lot of playing around, a lot of socialization, a lot of kids coming. We had a pool. Remember the pool?
Oh, I remember the pool.
Not in the end stages, when we used to swim in it. Remember? You don't? Maskin always loved animals. We bought her a cow. Remember a cow? It was so big. How could you not remember? You were pulling it by the horns. You don't remember the cow? Oh my God. Anyways, chickens. You remember the chickens at least?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm critical of my parents. My parents were critical of their parents. You are critical of me. Your kids will be critical of you.
I'm not critical of my parents, no. Because there must be a moment in your life when you, like, we were discussing this when we talked to a psychologist about the parenting. Like, there must be a moment in your life when you need to realize and to look through all your like parents' actions through your, like, adult point of view. Like, when you need to understand why they did this, because like they thought it would be best for you, even though it appeared not to be. You just need to accept the fact. Like, I do not judge my parents for anything.
Yeah,
Because
but your actions are speaking otherwise. You said earlier today that all you wanted as a kid to become adult and to become independent.
Yeah. Like,
So
there must be a moment during your adulthood when you realize it, because during your childhood, like most of the teens, they hate their parents because they do not understand all their actions. But when you live your life alone, like for example, now I live without my parents for like a couple of years now, and when you are distant from them, you start to realize all their actions and you start to accept them and not judge them anymore.
maybe. Anyways, my parents didn't bother themselves to think whether I like them or not. They just did whatever they wanted to do and never bothered themselves with any extra thoughts. Yeah, I've learned that this being critical towards the parents is also the biological mechanism that makes a separation easier, because the next generation has to go forward and do things independently. And this kind of negativity is created because of this process as well. And we can see it in animals as well, in wolf packs and other animal settings, social animals. So,
Well, this
yes.
mechanism is actually created to avoid incest between the parents and the children, because biologically, like, we have this very special organ that we read the pheromones with, and if a person that we meet is close to our genetic code, we are attracted to him, but it must not be too close to it, because in that case it might be our like a parent or sister or cousin or something, and it's bad for our genetics. So yeah, this mechanism just is created to avoid the incest.
To prevent inbreeding. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a nice thought as well. Maybe also the resources, because like the year-old wolf cub would be taking the resources needed to the younger cubs. So the wolf mother is chasing him away when he's 1 year old, and it's kind of mechanism as well to let the next generation. That's what it is, very important, because we tend to explain our troubles as something personal that happening only to us, and in most cases is those things are explained otherwise. For example, the good relationship between the son and mother is way more common than good relationship between son and the father, and it's known since the times of Freud, right? Because with the father, it's always the competition for the attention of the mother. It's called Oedip complex. And as many times as I can see, everybody whom I actually know, the daughters have bad relationship with their mothers, and sons with their fathers. So there are exceptions, but naturally, what happens, it is what happens. And this realization helps out when you find yourself in feeling different ways. Most probably the explanation is the biological one rather than the real one. Actually, it usually happens to elder brothers, like Jacob is more antagonistic to me than you, Peter. And my brother was more antagonistic to my father than I was. It's usually for the firstborn son, this antagonism. Because usually the elder brother takes part of the fatherly functions, like Jacob for you, for example, right? What are you looking in Google? We will explain.
You mean me?
No, Peter obviously is searching. Anyways, to conclude our conversation, it's very important, before you have strong feelings about anybody or any situation, is to check out, maybe it's our animal biological nature that makes us to feel that way. And only if we find out that it is not, and actually always it is, then we can let our feelings to go any further. It's a good advice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Anything else? All right.
Being child and being an adult is a perfect time with the correct mindset inside your head. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.